Hello everyone! In this week's video, we're going to be redesigning one of my old original characters. So I know it's only July, but my brain started thinking about Inktober this year. If you don't know what Inktober is, it is a drawing challenge where you try to draw an ink-based drawing every day of October. This year I thought it'd be fun to make a story for Inktober. It would help change things up and make things kind of exciting, and I also get a story at the end of it. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know a bit about this because I keep talking about it. Also, thank you to my followers on there for supporting me. You're always so nice. I decided to make a story about my original characters, Tokumei and Hime. Tokumei has always been way more developed as a character compared to Hime. Hime only exists because Tokumei needed something to guard. Hime actually doesn't have a name. I call her Hime, which means princess in Japanese. Her design is also very simple and not very interesting, and she doesn't really give off a princess vibe. Because I am now making a short story about them, I need to update their designs. I already figured out Tokumei's design. It has slowly evolved over time, but Hime needs a lot more work. One of the first things I do when I'm designing a character is head to Pinterest for inspiration. In this case, I made a new board for Hime and then added basically anything that I thought would come in handy. I was especially looking for outfit inspiration and hairstyle inspiration. Now that I have my inspiration, let's start designing. So I'm going to start off by designing Hime's eye shape. The eyes are very important to me and is one of the defining characteristics of my characters for like expressing their personality and stuff. I'm actually starting by drawing Tokumei's eyes. His eyes are very flat on top and very rounded on the bottom. I wanted to make sure that his eyes and Hime's eyes were really different. So for Hime's eye shape, I wanted it to feel kind of serious and maybe a little stern, but not mean. So like by default, like my character Zoe, her eyes look kind of mean by default. But I wanted her eyes to look serious, but not mean. Like they can look mean if she makes kind of a mean looking face. But they can also look very nice and pleasant if she's making more of a happy facial expression. I didn't want her eyes to be super peppy and outgoing looking. Also, I decided to make her eyes be really light in color. Tokumei's eyes are super dark and you can't even see his pupil. So for contrast, Hime's eyes will be a super light color. I also add a little bit of detail within the eye to make it a little bit more interesting. So after deciding on the eye shape, I'm going to start focusing on her hair. So I draw heads in front view, side view, and back view. I am going to make her hair super duper long. I wanted to give her really long hair because I don't have any characters with super duper long hair, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to work with. So I actually had to add bodies to all of the heads because the hair is so long. I'm keeping things very sketchy and loose since I'm just trying to get an idea of how I want everything. It doesn't need to be super finished or fancy. So for this first hairstyle, I was trying a kind of heavy bang. And then it had two shorter pieces by her ears. And then the rest was super duper long. And it would kind of come down and be tied into like a low ponytail. I'm not totally sure what you would call it. But she had like a ribbon holding all of her hair together. And I don't know, I wasn't a super big fan of this hairstyle. I did like the two shorter bits by her ears, but it felt a little bit too plain and not like regal enough. So I decided to try another idea. This time around, I'm trying something a little bit different. I was going to do the heavy bangs again and then maybe have some longer pieces that come forward. But I decided to make it so she kind of only has bangs in the middle part of her face. And then on the sides, we have the longer pieces that come forward and down. And then she has part of her hair tied back. I was thinking about having it be tied back into two buns. But that felt a little bit too cutesy. I wanted something a little bit more serious feeling. So instead of two buns, I decided to change it to one bun. Also, two buns was a little bit weird to draw in side view. So I thought the one bun would be a little bit easier to work with. Coming from the bun, we have shorter pieces of the hair. The long hair is being wrapped up in the bun, and then some of it is coming out of the bun. So she has these little shorter bits. I thought that'd make the hair a little bit more interesting. And then she has all of the part that's not tied up all flowing down. Oh, I also decided to give her like a little hair clip within her bun. So that's what I'm doing right here. I was looking at many different hair clips, kind of like the one you see in Mulan. It kind of like slides into the hair to help hold the bun up or something. I found one similar to this on Pinterest and I thought it looked really cool. I wanted to go with something that was kind of simple to draw, but also looked slightly detailed. I don't want to get too complicated with the design because I am going to be drawing Hime a lot. So I want it to feel like detailed and fleshed out enough, but also not too overly detailed that it makes her kind of a pain to draw over and over again. So I was pleased with Hime's first hair design, but I also need a second hair design. Within the story, we basically get two versions of Hime. We get like the more princessy Hime, and then we're gonna have her be in disguise. She's trying to hide the fact that she's the princess. So she's going to be wearing a hood, and I was deciding why I wanted her hair to be like underneath the hood. So I tied all of her hair up into a larger bun, and then the two longer pieces that come in front, she kind of swoops into the bun, and they're not fully tied back. I thought this would make the bun be kind of interesting. So after deciding on her hairstyle, I am now going to start designing her outfit. Also, I want to say that the story is very inspired by Japanese and Eastern culture, but it's taking place in a world all my own and its own kind of country with its own traditions and such. But it is very inspired by Japanese culture. So I'm not trying to be historically accurate or anything. That'd be a little hard to do. So I'm giving myself a bit of creative liberty and kind of letting me design things however I want because it is taking place in kind of my own world. So for Hime's princess outfit that she wears in the palace, I really liked the outfits that had the two parts coming down and then kind of a part coming across. I don't totally know how to explain it, but I really liked it when I saw it on Pinterest. I thought it looked really cool. And then she has this kind of belt going around her waist with a sash tied, and then it kind of drapes down, and she has the big flowy sleeves, and it's also quite long. At first I made it super duper long, but then I decided to shorten it a bit because I noticed a lot of the outfits don't fully touch the ground. They just barely skim the ground, maybe to make it easier to walk or something. I also started adding color. Color isn't going to be super important because the book is going to be in black and white, but I thought it'd be nice to plan out the colors just so I know what tones I want to use for things. I decided to go with a lot of reds, blacks, and golds because I thought it'd feel kind of regal. I also was trying to play around with a different princess idea. I saw these really cute dresses that have kind of like this thing at the top that goes around, and then the sleeves are super drapey, and then the bottom part of the dress is very light and airy feeling, and it has a bunch of like ruffles in it, or is it ruffles? I don't know. It's like all of the fabric is being bunched together and flowing from that one spot, but it felt a little bit younger feeling, like maybe it was for a younger character. So I decided to stick with the first outfit idea. So now I'm working on her sneaky outfit, and her sneaky outfit is inspired by a yukata. I actually want to change it up a little bit more. After filming this video, I saw other yukatas that I really liked, so I do want to change this design up just a little bit, but I'll get around to doing that later on. Oh, I also wanted to add the hood. I wasn't totally sure how to add a hood to a yukata because that's not really something that's usually done, but I really needed something to cover her head and kind of conceal her face. But I found these really cute hoods on Pinterest by this company. I don't know, I'll put it up on screen. And they sell these really cute hoods that kind of go around, but then they hang off of the shoulders in like almost like a cape sort of thing. I don't totally know how to explain it, but I thought it was really cute, and it kind of seemed to match the feeling of the yukata and everything. So that's what I used as inspiration for the hood. I also decided to have it tie in the middle because I thought that'd help keep the two pieces kind of together. So now I'm adding a little bit of color to this outfit. Since I used a lot of reds for the other outfit, I thought I'd use more blues for this outfit to kind of give it contrast. For the hood, I was thinking it'd be cute to make it super light in color, but it didn't feel mysterious enough, so I decided to make it a super dark blue. So here are Hime's two outfits. Now that I have the basics of Hime's design figured out, I'm going to start drawing some pictures of her. But before we do, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know what Skillshare is. It's an online learning community with thousands of classes on many different topics like web development, photography, music, fine art, illustration, and so much more. In this video, I'm redesigning my OC. If you'd like to learn more about character design, Skillshare has tons of classes on this topic. One you can check out is Level Up Your Characters, 5 Techniques for Creating Better Character Designs by Hayden O. Whether you're creating a new character or reworking an old one, like me. This class will walk you through 5 easy to understand but hard to master techniques for taking good designs and making them great. Skillshare is also affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month, and because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 2-month free trial of premium membership. You can try as many Skillshare classes as you want at no cost to you. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I was thinking about drawing a finished illustration of her, but that's not really a part of my character creation process. I would only be drawing the illustration because it's for a YouTube video. So instead of drawing a full illustration, I decided to draw a character sheet. This is something I really like to do when I'm designing characters. I just draw them in different positions and views with different facial expressions, and it helps me get more of a feeling of the character and also helps me get more used to drawing them. So this first drawing is like Princess Hime, where she feels more royal and regal and she's a bit more serious and seems a little bit more cold. For this, I kind of wanted to try planning out her colors a little bit more. I wanted to figure out her hair color and her eye color. So right now I'm filling in all the different base colors. After filling in the base colors, I start playing around with the color of her hair. I started with her hair being black, but since this does take place in kind of a fantasy world, I thought it'd be really fun to give her a fantasy hair color because a lot of my characters live in the real world, so I don't really get to use a bunch of crazy colors. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to use an unrealistic hair color. So when deciding on colors, I often like to use the correction layer, hue, saturation, and value or something like that. And then I'll slide the hue slider around to change the color of the hair. This is a really easy way to keep playing around with colors because I can just keep sliding the slider to change the color of the hair. I decided on kind of this tealy blue color. It's a dark blue, but it's a slightly more greeny blue, and I thought it looked kind of nice. I was also thinking of going with a red or a purple, but since I imagine a lot of her outfits are going to be kind of red, I thought the more tealy color would be a nice pop of color. For her eyes, I thought it'd be cool if they were gold, but once again, I was playing around with them with the correction layer. I did also really like them as this bright blue. I thought that looked really cool, but they didn't feel as serious to me for some reason. Like the gold just gave off this really serious vibe. Like I mentioned, the colors won't really matter in the end. Because the book is going to be in black and white, but I wanted to be pleased with the colors that I chose for her. So after finishing that little sketch of a more princessy, regal Hime, I wanted to draw the sneaky around in disguise Hime. So she's going to be wearing the hood outfit with the yukata. And here I wanted her to have kind of a different vibe. I wanted her to feel more friendly and approachable and a little bit more open. So she kind of has 2 sides to her. She tries to be more serious and regal as the princess because people have expectations for her. But then when she's herself, she's a little bit more friendly and maybe a little bit more childish. She can be kind of pouty and a little disagreeable at times, but she has a good heart. Her sneaky around outfit was a little tricky for me to draw. I'm definitely gonna have to practice drawing it quite a few times before working on the story to get used to drawing it. But I am pleased with Hime's design. I found her face and hair pretty easy to draw in the different positions, so I'm really glad about that. Sometimes I'll give characters a hairstyle, but then it'll be kind of a pain to draw in different views. But this one was pretty simple to draw in the different views, so I was very pleased about that. Also, I feel like I succeeded with Hime's eye shape. I feel like she is able to look more serious or more happy depending on her facial expression, and her eye shape isn't too overpowering where she feels too cutesy or too stern or angry. So one last thing I needed to decide on was Hime's name. I can't just keep calling her Hime. I'm basically just calling her Princess. So I need to decide on a name for her. I spent so long trying to decide on a name for her. I think it took me like an hour and a half or something. I was scrolling through so many different names and trying to decide on different names. I'm always horrible at naming things. Like when I try to name Pokemon or different things in video games, it always takes me ages. So I wanted something that sounded kind of pretty, but also maybe a little bit serious and kind of regal. So for her family name, I decided on Hoshizora. I thought it sounded kind of cool and I like the meaning of it. I think it means starry sky. I thought that seemed really cool. So I decided on Hoshizora, and then I needed to figure out what her given name is. And that's where the tricky part came in. So I wanted to give her a name that kind of means snow or cold because she's born in the winter. And so I was looking at different snow-inspired names, and I liked the name Miyuki. I thought it was really cute. But when I searched Miyuki Hoshizora on Google to make sure no other character had it, the main character from Glitter Force popped up, and I was like, oh man, I can't use that name now. And I was really sad because I liked the name. So then I tried Rin Hoshizora, and then a character from a different anime popped up, and I'm like, oh come on, I'm finally finding names I like and they're all taken. So then I tried Koyuki Hoshizora, and no other character seemed to have that name. So that is now her name, Koyuki Hoshizora. I thought it sounded quite nice, and I thought Koyuki did fit her quite well. Her name isn't actually too important throughout the story. She'll mostly be referred to as Princess, so we won't see her name too often, but it is sort of important to the story, and I do want her to have a name. But I am pleased on the name I decided for her. I feel like it fits her and her personality. Also, the name Hoshizora is cool because it has the word Zora in it, like The Legend of Zelda. And that just felt really cool to me for some reason. So here's what Koyuki looked like before, and here she is now. I really tried my best to make her feel more princessy and regal, and I hope I succeeded. It was a lot of fun getting to redesign her, and I hope you liked watching my designing process. I'm having a lot of fun working on the short story for Inktober. I'm currently trying to write it out and plan everything, and it's a lot of fun. And I hope I'll get to share more of the process with all of you. Anyways, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!